Sleep is supposed to be the safest place you can be. But what if closing your eyes wasn't just rest, but an open door? Insidious asks the horrifying question, what if your dreams weren't just dreams, but an invitation to something that wants your body? Hello, my curious little shadows. I'm Vyxen Storm, and tonight we're plunging into the dimly lit corridors of James Wan's Insidious, a film that doesn't just scare you, it lingers, seeps, and rattles in the dark corners of your mind. You're not just watching a haunted house story. You're watching a family stalked by something far worse than ghosts. Released in 2011, Insidious follows Josh and Renee Lambert, whose son Dalton falls into a mysterious coma after venturing into the attic. But this isn't a medical mystery. It's supernatural. They soon discover the true horror. Dalton isn't unconscious. His physical body is merely a vessel, while his consciousness has astral projected into a ghostly purgatory known as the Further. Their home fills with terrifying disturbances, whispers, shadows, and figures that seem to crawl straight out of nightmares. But no matter where they go, the spirits follow. With the help of Elise Rainier, a gifted psychic, they discover Dalton is trapped in the Further. It's a liminal space crawling with restless spirits who desperately want to return to the living world. And one powerful demon with a hunger for Dalton's body. The climax forces Josh to venture into the Further himself to retrieve his son, but what he brings back might not be Josh at all. James Wan and Lee Whannell, the duo who brought us the notorious Saw, shifted from outrageous gore to psychological atmosphere here, proving that tension can be far scarier than blood. The film's budget was just a shoestring $1.5 million. It was filmed in just 21 days, yet it went on to gross nearly $100 million worldwide. A monumental success and the launchpad for a new horror cinematic universe. If you look closely, around the 30-minute mark, there's a sketch of the jigsaw puppet from Saw on the chalkboard behind Josh. And here's a deliciously macabre detail. The woman in black? She was intentionally played by a man in drag, which James Wan felt was more disturbing and helped create a sense of maximum unease. The chilling violin stabs in the soundtrack? Composer Joseph Bashara, who also played the iconic red-faced demon, created that jagged, discordant nightmare fuel himself. This is a brilliant detail, as the very being that stalks the family is literally the source of the score's most unnerving moments. You'll also notice the lipstick-faced demon's name is quite literal. His face was actually painted with lipstick. The song, Tiptoe Through the Tulips, by Tiny Tim, famously used in the horror movie Insidious, has an eerie connection to the singer's death. Tiny Tim tragically passed away while performing this very song during a live concert. Finally, the scenes in the Further were filmed in a real-life, famously creepy location, the abandoned Herald Examiner building in Los Angeles, which has a notorious history linked to the Black Dahlia murder. The film is widely praised for its ability to build and sustain dread right from the opening moments. That tension doesn't just fade when the credits roll, it clings to you, feeding on your nerves long after the screen goes dark. Director James Wan deserves serious credit here. He steers clear of the rapid-fire MTV editing style so common in modern horror, and instead allows the tension to breathe. By slowing things down and using long, lingering shots, he gives dread the time it needs to crawl under your skin. I adore how Insidious weaponizes silence, the way a hallway just weights, the creak of a floorboard, a baby monitor catching something that isn't human. The sound design is consistently highlighted as excellent, layering the film with a richness that amplifies both atmosphere and picture quality. The story hits a primal nerve, too. It's horrifying because it digs into our fears about raising children. The unsettling thought that you might never truly know the person you've chosen to spend your life with. The film masterfully explores themes of inherited trauma and how the past can literally haunt the present. It also gave us Elise Reynier, played brilliantly by Lin Shaye, one of the best horror characters of the last 2 decades. Compassionate, powerful, yet still vulnerable, Elise is the emotional anchor of this series. And of course, that demon reveal. The red-faced fiend peeking from behind Josh's shoulder is arguably one of horror cinema's greatest modern jump scares. And it's effective because it was done in camera with no CGI, making it feel unsettlingly real. If I'm being critical, some of the CGI in The Further hasn't aged gracefully. A few of the spirits look a little more laughable than legitimately terrifying, especially when they're fully revealed. A few moments lean a little too campy, which can undercut the raw dread built earlier. The introduction of Specs and Tucker, the ghost hunting duo, while providing some much-needed humor, completely shifts the tone from a serious supernatural thriller to a comedic adventure, which, for some viewers, stops the momentum cold. The film also overplays its hand by showing too much of its villains. The more we see of the demon and the various spirits, the less scary they become. Instead of a chilling, unseen force, they become less terrifying, more like just another character. And while the ending cliffhanger was delicious, it arguably sacrificed a satisfying resolution for franchise setup. Still, it worked. Insidious thrives because it understands that fear isn't just what you see, it's what you expect to see. The camera lingers too long. The music stops when it shouldn't. One makes you hold your breath and punishes you for exhaling too soon. By tying the terror to the family bond, the fear of losing your child, it grounds the supernatural in raw human emotion. And that's why it resonates. It's not just about demons. It's about parents desperate to save their son. Most importantly, the film brilliantly subverted the tired haunted house trope by revealing that it's not the house that's haunted, but the person. This clever twist breathed new life into the genre, bypassing the typical "why don't they just leave" criticism, and paving the way for a new era of mainstream psychological horror, including the hugely successful The Conjuring franchise. Would you survive Insidious? Well, are you brave enough to venture into the Further, armed only with a lantern and your willpower? The Further isn't a place you can outsmart. It's a place that feeds on fear. So unless you can stay perfectly calm with shadow figures crawling around you, the odds aren't in your favor. Let me know in the comments what your survival plan would be. I'd love to read them. The next time you hit play on Insidious, lean a little closer, listen for the whispers, watch the corners of the frame, because in this world, it's not the house that's haunted, it's you. If you enjoyed wandering the Further with me tonight, make sure to like, subscribe, and let me know about your survival plan in the comments. Until then, stay curious, stay scared.